everybody, welcome to another live chat, group chat. I invited Lizzie on, but she was occupied with other things, so she was unable to, and unfortunately was unable to join us tonight. But hopefully she will probably join us another time. But anyway, so in the meantime, I'm going to be joined again by Sam and Lawrence, which is kind of the normal thing at the moment. So yes, there's another live chat. So I don't know what we're going to be talking about, so I'm just going to put a little... Well, to be honest, this is live. So what I say now, you won't see until we're finished. But hey-ho, we're just going to do whatever. Whatever we talk about in this, it's going to be most likely MLP related, most likely movie related, TV related, video game related, just general catch-up, general crap. And we will likely fart, burp, and be annoying. Possibly. But anyway, so let's get these guys invited. I haven't done that yet. Be a good idea to do so if I want them to come on, wouldn't it? It would. And let's go and sort that out. So I hope you all been doing well. I know again you won't be watching this right now because there's no watchers, but after we are live, hope you are well. Please comment. There's a live chat there as well, and also please comment in the description, in the comments below once we are no longer live. Get involved, you know, if anyone wants to come on, if anyone wants to actually come on a live chat with myself, Sam, Lawrence, or everyone else, or whoever else, if anybody is interested in coming on anytime, let us know, because we would like to have more people on these group chats, because that's the whole idea. So, I suppose I should invite the others, shouldn't I? I suppose I should, but a part of me can't be bothered. I'm not joking. Right. There we go. So the invitation has been set. So let's see how long it takes for the link to be seen and then click and then up. Let's see how long it takes either of them this time, because I know Lawrence had issues connecting last time we did one of these, and also the time before that as well. Sam had issues with connection last time and the time before. I'm the only person at the moment, touch wood, and that is wood, touch wood, I've not had any connection issues thus far. I think I've got the strongest connection of all three of us that do these live chats. Mainly because I am kind of, well, it's not, I'm not cheating, it's just I'm lucky to be the closest to the main signal box thing. So, well, basically we've got like a big like signal thing right at the top of our street, and that's pretty much where what feeds, pretty much it all feeds from there to the rest of my area. So, yeah. So a nice cup of tea. So a nice cup of tea for this live chat. I'm not drinking tonight, and I'm trying to watch on the fizzies as well, because I'm at dentist tomorrow. So I want to try and keep. Well, even though it doesn't really matter because the damage has probably already been done, knowing me. I just hope I don't have to have a root canal. That'd be a good thing, not to have a root canal done. I'm used to having the odd filling here and there, because everybody eventually will have at least one or two fillings in their mouth, probably even more. But yeah, I'm used to having a filling here and there done, but root canal, no, and hopefully that will never happen. So, well, anyways, but I'm just cutting down. I mean, even though tea does have natural sugar in it, but it's natural sugar. Natural sugar is not too bad. You know. So I'm trying to cut down on that, and then lovely dentist tomorrow for a checkup, which is the annual. Well, yeah, pretty much it's kind of like an annual checkup. So the link has been sent now for the last 5 minutes. So they're still not here. So I'm guessing they're still getting themselves sorted out. I'll be surprised because last time we did this, hey, Sam.
No,
Sam is an absolute arsehole, apparently. I don't know who Sam is. He's just this person that keeps following me around all the time, and he really is quite annoying. And oh, hi, Sam. Sorry, mate. I didn't know you were there.
I watch you while you sleep.
That's comforting.
I know. I like just standing at the end of your bed, slowly rubbing my hands and thinking of sweet, sweet things, while cuddling Mindy and giving her juniper berries.
What the hell are them?
I don't know. It's just something I just thought of.
Juniper berry. I've actually heard of juniper berry.
I think it's something from Pokemon. I don't know. It just kind of popped into my head.
Let me have a look. Google.
Google, what is life? If you Google that, it probably explodes as well.
See how long it takes Lawrence to finally get connected.
Mate, I don't know whether it's taken you. It's taken you 30 minutes. Where have you been for 30 minutes? Does it take 30 minutes for your computer to load up or something?
Well, I made tea.
You made tea. It took you 30 minutes to make a cup of tea.
Well, I made tea, then I had to walk up the stairs.
It took you 30 minutes to walk up the stairs.
And then I had to sit down and then wait for this.
Down.
And then had to wait for this computer to boot
it took
up.
30 minutes for your computer to boot up.
Yeah.
You need a computer.
Well, to be honest, Lawrence did actually say to go live at 9:15, about 10 past 9:15 anyways. So, to be honest, I'm only about 15 minutes late. Well, actually, no, I'm 10 minutes. Just over 10 minutes. Anyway, I was looking at juniper berries. I don't know why I'm... There we go. Yeah, they are a real thing. What are they? A juniper berry is the female seed cone produced by the various species of junipers. Again, what the hell's a juniper?
I don't know.
It is not a true berry.
It's a Mindy when I watch you sleep.
It's not a true berry. It's a fake berry, but they call it a berry. I don't get that. Apparently, it's used in gin, allspice. Apparently, gin is a part of that kind of nature. I don't fucking know. Anyway.
Yeah, give your pussycat gin while we watch you sleep.
Yeah. It is a real thing, anyway, people.
Your dad comes in and watches you sometimes as well, and we all drink gin.
Okay. Hey, Lawrence.
Lawrence is here.
Wait, is he here?
I don't know.
Is he here? Or is he just an ominous face in the right-hand corner of our screens?
That caption of him, it really gives you the mind of the type of person who watches you from outside your window on a night. It's so ominous. It's a very stalker-like image.
Just kind of like looking at through it and going tapping on the window. Like,
yeah.
Hello, John. Want to go live again?
There you are. Right, guys, I want to throw something out.
You guys been on for long?
Nah, I just got here. I want to throw something out, actually.
Yeah, it took me.
I want to throw something out real quick. TF Nation next year.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what's happening with a hotel room at the moment. I mean, I'm thinking about booking a hotel room now, but it'll be like ridiculously super expensive to do it now.
February, because actually, Sam, oh no, because I don't know what's happening. I don't know if you were going to be sharing with Lawrence or not, if that's still a thing. But I would have a word with Nick Snowden, because Nick Snowden's a trader, and he might be able to help you out. Also, I'm going to say, because we are live, I don't want to say anything that could get people into trouble, in case. But
No.
I'd have a word with Nick
I'm going
Snowden.
to check with my dad. I can arrange it, Sam. I can arrange it so he can pay, for me to have half maybe, and
Well,
Maybe we could share if that's what you'd like.
Well, I'm all right with that, mate. I'm more than happy
He-
to pay. I'm more than happy to pay half my share of a room, mate. Honestly.
Yeah. The thing is, it's normally a joint Christmas and birthday present from my dad and his partner.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if you're happy with me bunking up with you, I'm more than happy to pay half the room.
yeah. And obviously, I probably will have access to the executive lounge, so I might be able to give you a key for that as well, so we can get some free booze.
Well, like I said, let me know near the time, mate. If you're okay, if your dad's okay with it, and you're okay with it. As I said, I'll pay my half. I'm more than happy to pay half.
Cool.
Can you see me all right on the screen?
Yeah, well, you're a little bit
Yeah, it
fuzzy.
says that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem. Yeah, there's a slight connection thing, but it seems all right.
See you, mate. So, well, how is everybody? And what we all been doing? Apart from, I don't know, but what have you been doing? I was life for you, bud.
Just applying for a few jobs this week. Waiting to see what happens. Because I normally take my maths, but I had last week off because it was after term, so the course wasn't on. So I watched all of Digimon Tamers. I finished yesterday.
What do you think?
I need to watch that again.
Well, I love it. I mean, I remember watching it all the way through several times on Jetix all them years ago, and I've only seen like individual episodes since. Now, you know, this is getting it on DVD. I've had the chance to sit and just rewatch the whole season. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like it as well. I mean, always a review it. Adventure 1, the very first Digimon series. That's pure nostalgia. I'll always love that series. But from a series perspective, Tamers, personally, anyway, I believe Tamers is the best series out of all of them. Does it?
Yeah,
it gets dark.
It definitely stands out amongst all of them. It does, and I like the whole storyline with Impmon becoming Beelzemon and turning on them. I like the whole thing with the D Reaper possessing Jerry after Leomon gets killed.
Yeah, it does get dark. I would say my least favorite series that I've watched in full is Frontier. You see, the problem with Frontier is the first half of the story isn't too bad, but then it's the second half of the story which is just dull. I mean, the last 20 episodes, it's the same thing happening in every single episode. 20 episodes. Yeah. The ending.
I haven't seen a lot of Frontier.
Frontiers, it's not the best one, mate. I mean, my least favorite one that I just didn't like is Data Squad. I hate Data Squad.
Yeah. Was it Frontier, Sabers, then Data Squad, and then you've got Fusion?
It's Adventure 1, Adventure 2, Tamers, Frontier, Data Squad. Then you've got Cross Wars, and then next year you've got a new one coming out, which is called Digimon Happy Monsters, which is going to be the next year's Digimon.
And then obviously got the Adventure movies.
Oh yeah, you got Try as well, haven't you? And then they've also confirmed that there's 2020 they're going to be releasing the final film that's going to end the story for Adventure 1. So you've got Try, which is kind of effectively is the official equal to Adventure 1, but then they've confirmed that the Adventure 1 cast characters will be getting a final film in 2020 that will be effectively the end of their story, and it's going to be all about them when they're adults. So that's how they're going to end it, with one final film in the next 2 years, effectively.
But will that part explain though how everyone on Earth suddenly gets a Digimon?
Well,
will they bring that into it?
The thing is, there, mate, is that on Adventure 2 that doesn't count anymore, because the reason why Adventure 2 is kind of a little bit weird near the end is because it's made up of a lot of them unused project material from Adventure 1. So effectively,
so is that not canon?
No, it's not canon. So technically, I don't know how much of Adventure 1 is canon. So only so much of it is actually canon. after a certain point, it's not classed as canon. I do know that pretty much the Davis, Hurley, and Cody are canon, but like basically the way Adventure 2 works, you've effectively got about 3 or 4 storylines in it. You've got the story of the new Digidestin plus TK and Kari.
Yeah.
Then you've got the story of the original Digidestin because they come into it halfway through. Then you've got an attempt. Then you've kind of got the whole Myotismon thing, which is supposed to tie into Adventure 1, but it doesn't really work. And it's never explained why every single person on the planet becomes a Digidestin at the end. It's never explained. It just doesn't make any sense. But basically, if you were to go with the events of Try, then effectively only about half of Adventure 2 is now canon. The second half isn't officially canon anymore. At least I think that's how it works. I'm not quite sure how it all works, but
I mean, because
yes,
because when Jedi is supposedly as the Digimon Emperor, they do mention Ken.
yeah. So I think because Jedi is his young adult self, not his like the old man self that you first see in Adventure 1, that does tie into Adventure 2. Because in Adventure 2, that's what it looks like. So it does tie into certain events, but I'm not sure how much of Adventure is canon. It's not made clear.
I mean, I really did like Digimon Adventure 2. I mean, I think Adventure 2 was the first series I watched all the way through. I only saw like bits and bobs of season 1 the first time it aired. It took me a while to want to just sit and watch it and focus on it because at the time Pokemon was at its hype. At that time, Digimon wasn't so popular because people were saying how it's just. But I started watching it properly from the beginning of season 2, and I loved it. And then I rewatched season 1 when it re-aired in syndication. I really liked it, and because I kind of went off Pokemon a bit after the first time I saw Pokemon the movie 2000 at the cinema. I didn't think that was very good at all the first time I saw it. I've rewatched it since, and I think it's better than I remember it. But
yeah,
the second film's okay, but compared to the first original movie, it's nowhere near as good.
The problem is, I don't know what you'll both think on this, but the problem with the Pokemon films is like the original Pokemon film in a lot of ways is a film. By the third film onwards, they're effectively just fillers. They're not actually films. They're just technically filling in gaps between seasons.
No, well, they've never had another theatrical. They've never had another big theatrical release since, have they?
Well, the only
I know in Japan,
they've had the Pokemon I Choose You that had a theatrical release, and the other one that's coming out. What is it? We are Pokemon. We Are United, or something like that. The next big film that's coming out like in end of November, I think. Like We Are United, or some, I don't know what it's called, but there's a new, because basically they're kind of remaking the original story, but in films. Like I Choose You is basically a remake of Ash's original adventure.
Yeah, but as I say, it didn't go to all cinemas. It went to some cinemas. They had like special showings, didn't it? Not like a full-on theatrical release.
Yeah. Well, that's the same. I mean, I don't know if we'll get the we might get it in Hull. I think we got I Choose You in Hull. I'm not sure, but if we do, we'll only get it for like 1 day, maybe 2. But yeah, if it does come to Hull, I do want to go and see it. I mean, what else is coming out? The thing is, in Japan, this is a bit of an example. Anime in Japan is completely different from how it is in the West. In Japan, they live it and they breathe it. It's a massive part of their society, and as a result, almost every anime film, whether it's Pokemon, Digimon, or anything in between, gets a cinematic release. that there's actually, I think altogether, there's probably well over 20 Pokemon films, and every single one of them has had a cinematic release in Japan. To say
Yeah,
they will do, because the problem is like in Japan, anime is literally their source of main entertainment for young kids or teens, young teens or mid-teens, and it's kind of like it's in everything. It's in business advertisements. It's like Burger King, McDonald's. They use anime to kind of advertise their, their restaurants and stuff. Transportation, even tourism. The national tourist people, the main tourist people in Japan, are using anime to pretty much try and bring people to Japan and try and check out different areas of Japan that don't get as much as many tourists as, like, say, Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, Hiroshima, etc. get. They're trying. It's actually used as quite a big tool in Japan, because there's so many people in Japan and outside Japan that there's millions of fans of anime around the world. Like, we're not even talking about Britain. We don't even touch the frigging iceberg when it comes to viewership for anime. It's mainly America and elsewhere that really make up the numbers, because in America, pretty much nearly on average, I think they put it on like an average. There's at least one person in every household in America that has at least watched some anime from like during the 90s period. Early thousands, and usually because
that makes sense. There's a lot of anime. Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, it's like, well, when I think all of us used to watch anime back in the day, like Fox Kids, Cartoon Network, all that stuff. Like, you had Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Digimon, Pokemon, and Flint the Time Detective, Dinosaur King, and there's the one about the dinosaur things and whatever that. Another. What was it? Monster Rancher and all those. I mean, I saw all of those, but I didn't know what anime was, because I remember saying to my mum, I said to my mum, I think I was watching Monster Rancher at the time, it was like 1999, because that used to be on before Power Rangers and the after school run on Fox Kids. And I said to my mum, Mum, do you realise how much this looks like Pokemon? She said, well, yeah, this must be by the same people who make Pokemon or something.
Just for the record, there's a total of 21 Pokemon films, and there's 18 Digimon films.
And that includes the three that the Western kind of have.
Yeah, that includes that. The upcoming Pokemon film is called Pokemon: The Power of Us. That's the upcoming one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Power of Us.
It looks
well, if it's released in our area, yeah, we'll go see it.
I'm going to see it, definitely. Yeah. I mean, if like I said, if it is here, but to be honest, I mean, the reason why I'm interested is I think the animation production company that's actually working alongside, it's the first time they've actually worked. I forgot who the animation company is for it. Let me just have a look. Pokemon.
So it's going to have its UK release basically Christmas, November, December time. So anywhere within the next 2 months.
Yeah.
And also, don't forget, guys, we're getting the Pokemon Detective movie.
Yeah, that's next year, isn't it? I think it's May next year.
That's the first live-action Pokemon movie as well.
True, but it's based off the game Detective.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's based off a game, but it's the first Pokemon live-action movie.
First live-action.
Actually, the Pokemon actually can talk. They don't just say their names. Is that true about this live-action film?
Yeah, that's kind of like
they're actually
version of Pokemon.
Yeah, do you like the idea of this?
I honestly don't know anything.
I'll definitely go and see
anything about it. I've never played the game. I literally know nothing about the concept of Detective Pikachu, so can't speak for it, mate.
Well, apparently, all All I know about it is that obviously Pikachu, the director, Detective Pikachu, is kind of like either like an alternate Pikachu, is able to talk and communicate and so on and so forth. But I think that's all I kind of know about it, is kind of like an alternate reality. It's kind of like an alternate version of Pikachu as a character, and it's just it's more like a spin-off game that they made in Japan that got really popular in Japan and obviously got popular outside Japan. And it's pretty much, I think it's a DS game. I think Nintendo DS game it's based off.
Yeah, it is. I never played that one.
I never played it.
The only sort of alternate Pokemon game I played. The only alternate sort of Pokemon game I played, other than like Pokemon Stadium or Pokemon Tag Tournament, was like the Pokemon toy one they did. I had one of those, which I thought was okay, but the other times I just play the main canon games in the game universe.
All right, there we go. I found out the animation studio is for the new Pokemon film. It's Wit Studio, and if you don't know who Wit Studio are, pretty much they're mainly well known for making Attack on Titan anime, as well as Seraph of the End. They both made those two anime series, and it's the first time they've actually been in partnership with with the regular. I think it's Toei Animation. I think it is. So I think it's kind of like
Toei.
Wit and Toei Animation are coming together for the first time to make this movie. And if you look at the animation and the character designs, they look amazing. If you check out the trailer to it, it's so vibrant, stunning, and Ash and all the other characters look absolutely brilliant. It really is quite a step up. I mean, Wit Studio, I've seen Seraph of the End is fantastic, and Attack on Titan is amazing. The visuals on that anime is unreal.
Yeah,
it really is
brilliant.
But I recommend Seraph of the End to you, Lawrence, if you haven't seen it. If you're into supernatural vampires and demons and things like that, it's pretty much kind of a combination of horror, science fiction, vampire and demon, and it's kind of like humans that have been infected with some sort of demon thing that has been experimented on with, due to experimentation. Yeah. And have been infected by demons, so they have like demons within them, and they have these they have like these swords or weapons that actually have like a demon within them, and they bring them forth, and then they fight and kill these vampires that are actually trying to enslave the human race. It's really quite cool.
If you like magic and demons and stuff, which I know you do, John, I recommend this anime. I've just started watching it. It's bloody brilliant.
What's that on?
11 Eyes.
Yeah.
You got
it? Never heard of that.
Yeah, 11 Eyes. It's absolutely brilliant. It's sub only. It isn't dubbed, but it is utterly brilliant. It's basically all about magic and demons. It's really good.
I'm guessing if it's English and it's on, is it on UK PAL?
Yeah, mate, it's region 2.
Right.
It's I forget what it's called now.
Sentai Filmworks.
It's not Sentai. It's MVM.
MVM.
Yeah, MVM.
That's interesting. Oh no. Yeah, MVM also do help out them as well, because Sentai Filmworks, they do take on anime, but they don't dub everything. They release it sub only sometimes, but they use a mixture of Kazi, NVM, and I believe what else do they use as a production company? All the anime as well. I think they use about 3 different distribution companies that work alongside anime to bring out their stuff. But yeah. Yeah, I'll pretty much check it out. 11 Eyes. I've never heard of it. Is it a new one or has it been out a few years?
I think.
It probably has been out a few years when it comes to Japan, but.
Well, it came out initially in 2009.
Right, it's quite an old.
It was subbed 2011.
Right, yeah, that makes sense. It's probably it's probably from yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's quite an oldish anime. I'm surprised I hadn't heard of it, to be honest. To be honest, I am actually massively out of phase with anime at the moment. You know, it's kind of like I remember when I was really into anime and I was watching anime pretty much every single night on the internet, on DVD. I was buying ridiculous amounts of anime back in 2006. So in 2006 was probably my highlight of actually owning, buying, and watching pretty much everything. And I knew everything that was coming out. I knew second seasons of stuff I was currently watching coming out. I knew manga that was coming out. I knew everything. And then for some reason, probably since about 2011 or 2012, I just don't know what's been coming out since about 2011, 2012. I just don't know. I think there's like a point where it's about
because I went college. Yeah, because I bought like quite a bit of anime like a few years ago, and I was getting into them, but then I've got this massive stash that I still have yet to watch.
Yeah, I've got some still need to watch. I've got Kill la Kill. I finally got Kill la Kill, all of it, and it cost me a lot of money, and it cost me quite a lot actually.
I've only got the first parts of that.
I've got all three. Ha! Not joking, but no, it's
I need to get the rest of Ruby. I've got the first three parts of Ruby. I know 4's out and 5's upcoming as well. I need to get them.
And Volume 6 is about to air soon as well. And I recommend checking out Ruby. It is unreal. They've actually started to air it on Crunchyroll in Japanese audio, English sub. So they're now showing it in Japan because it's pretty much it's an American anime. It's based on anime anyway because
it started as a YouTube series, isn't it? As an independent YouTube series.
Yep. It was created by Monty Oum, who passed away during the production of season 2 or 3 due to cancer, and they carried it on in his honor, in his memory. I believe that's how it worked. Monty Oum is actually the creator of Ruby, and also there's 2 others as well. The guy who plays one of the characters out of Team Juniper, there's Team Ruby and Team Juniper, which is the second team, which is the other friends that they've got. I can't remember his name now, but one of them is actually a voice actor and he voices characters in Ruby as well. But he's also one of the script writers or producers as well. That worked alongside Monty Oum as well as somebody else. So I think there's about 2 or 3 that essentially brought the concept forward, but it was all Monty Oum's concept art and everything that made it a thing. Because if you watch season 1, I think it's volume 1 or volume 2, in the credits they actually put like the concept art in the end credits. So you can see like early concept art of Ruby and Whis and Blake and all them lot. You can see all this concept art and they put it at the end. But I think it's either season 2 or during season 3 production. He sadly passed away due to cancer. And he was only, I think he was in his late 20s, early 30s when he passed away, sadly. And they actually carried it on in his honor. But Ruby, mate, is unreal. I've enjoyed all of it, but there's a bit of the fan base is a bit torn at the moment because Volume 5 left a bit of a bitter aftertaste in some fans. Some people loved it, and I liked it myself, but other people hated it because they found it probably the worst series thus far. Even though it's the best, the visuals are stunning in Volume 5. It's dark. But the only thing is they found it to be quite robotic and quite not as entertaining, and they feel that they're putting too much emphasis on the animation rather than the story. So there's a little bit of a 50-50 divide at the moment. But to be honest, I think the story's getting better personally. I mean, the first couple of volumes is brilliant story-wise, but the animation. You'll naturally notice, Sam, once you start watching it, Volume 1 of Ruby is don't get me wrong. It's proper web series animation where it's kind of very basic animation, but it works. And then anybody on the outside of that, like fellow classmates, they are literally just shadows. They are moving shadows. They've got no detail or character to them at all, because back then they didn't have the money to have background characters in there as well as the main characters. So they only animated the main characters that needed to be in the story, and anyone on the outside that wasn't like main were completely just literally nothing. They were just like black silhouettes. And then volume 2, you see they finally actually start to have a little bit more of a background character presence, and also the animation is completely slightly different than volume 3. From volume 3, they actually have moving and physical background characters. So they physically have moving people that are physically animated as well as the main characters. So you can see from volume 1 up to volume 5 and 6, up to volume 5 that's currently released, the progression of the animation is unreal. They really went all out. I mean, volume 4 and 5 are absolutely stunning when it comes to the animation, considering it's a web series. And it still is a web series, but when they put it on DVD, it's like a feature length thing.
Yeah.
Because when it was on Netflix, that's where I watched the first 3 volumes on Netflix, and then I picked the rest of it up afterwards on YouTube. But it's not on Netflix anymore. It got taken down about 2-3 years ago now. No, about 2 years ago. So, but anyway, so I watched it. I watched it on Netflix, and I was like, oh, it's just a little web series thing. And I thought, wait a minute. Volume 1, it's bloody hell, this is taking forever. And then I noticed I finally finished. It was about, each episode is roughly between 10 to 15 minutes, depending on what's going on. So it could be about 10 minutes if it's just a normal character, you know, kind of like a normal, like bit of maybe like a humor type episode. But then when there's kind of like fight scenes and a bit more drama to it, that would be a little bit longer. So added all that up throughout the whole entirety of the whole volume. It's literally just like a big, you know, it just all put together, and it's about roughly about an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours, about an hour and a half roughly. So what they do is they actually do it as like a feature length, but they call it volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, but they're actually in like a movie format when they put it onto DVD or Blu-ray. But I haven't got any of it myself. I've only seen it online, but I've not purchased any of it because to be honest, it's one of those things where I'm trying to find new anime, and then I can't at the moment. I can't really afford anything like that, even though they're not expensive. You know, the first couple of volumes are quite cheap now, but I do want to try and pick them up probably after Christmas, probably January sales. If they kind of pop up anywhere, I might maybe see about it. And also, depends on my job. If I get a job in the meantime as well, I might see about picking them up in the future. But
yeah, how are you getting on, John? You any interviews lately?
No, I've had no interviews. I've just been applying. I applied for a job earlier tonight for View, Princess Key. Again, that's the second time I've sent an application into them, but I found out through a woman I used to work with. She well, I didn't realise, but I went and checked my phone, and there was a voicemail on my phone. And she tried to ring me earlier on today, and she said, "Oh, just let you know that View's after people, and apparently they're after 8 people, so there's 8 vacancies available." So I thought, right, okay. So I sent an application in tonight, so see if I hear anything from them. But I wasn't successful last time I applied to them. I don't know why, but I wasn't successful last time. Well, I assume so because I just didn't hear anything, and then I found out later on that there actually was in the second stage. So they've done probably the. I think it was into the assessment stage. I found out later that they'd already done the assessment stage. But we'll see. I mean, if I hope I can find a job before the end of the year. If I can find a job before the end of the year, then I don't really have any issues or problems for next year. I can hopefully plan things I wanted to do. But at the moment, everything's on hold until I can start putting money away, at least while I'm on benefits. So I want to see if I can just give myself a bit of a head start with saving a little bit now and again. But in the meantime, it's just literally just trying to keep as much money in my bank as possible to help me out towards things. And I'll see if anything comes up like Christmas stuff. No, because obviously Christmas, that's going to be financially draining on me. So that's only about 2 months away. So
yeah,
because my birthday is right. We're literally on the last couple of days now. There's 2 more days. 2 more days of October to go. My birthday's on the 28th of November. So we are probably about a month and 2 days to be exact. A month and 2 days to my birthday. So, but
have you asked for anything?
No, well, I'm kind of. Well, not really. I mean, I originally was going to get myself. I was actually going to. I asked my dad about graphic tablets for drawing, like graphic tablets for like drawing on a computer and everything. And I found one that's actually quite reasonably priced, and you can kind of draw on. You can actually do everything on the tablet itself without. So it's actually like a proper tablet, but you can do it without the computer. So you can do it on your own, or you can do it via connected to the computer. So it's like a proper drawing graphic tablet. And I found one at a reasonable price, but then I said to my dad, I might not bother getting that now because apparently it doesn't support Microsoft Paint. It only supports Windows 10 version, which is Paint 3D. And I don't have Windows 10 because none of my computers can run it properly at the moment. So I thought, well, there's no point in getting that if nothing can run on it, because I can't afford to buy Photoshop or anything like that because it's incredibly expensive. So that was an idea, but at the moment I'm just thinking of other ideas that I'll just see about people, just money, or I'm happy if people just give me money and I just go out and get whatever myself. Like kind of vouchers or But I did ask my dad. I have got other ideas, but at the moment I don't know whether it'll happen.
Yeah, my birthday is in January the 21st.
Well, by the way, Sigourney Weaver announced Avatar 2 and 3. They've pretty much finished filming.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the James Cameron film.
Yeah, but then they've also confirmed Avatar 4 and 5.
Oh, blind. So they've been shooting the two sequels
back to back
at the same time.
Yeah, they've done Avatar 2 and 3 back to back, but they won't. Avatar 2 will actually be released until I think 2020. It's going to effectively be in like post-production for a year. I think it's 2020. I'm sure it's not next. Hang on, let me have a look. I'm sure it's a year away.
I don't know why he just doesn't bother with it. Just stop it now, because don't forget. I mean,
it's 2020.
I mean, Avatar was. Don't get me wrong. I'm probably one of the people that actually quite enjoyed Avatar. I mean, but I do get the criticism it gets as well. I understand the criticism it gets, and I also understand why some people just generally don't like it. Because one, the reason I agree that it's literally just like, oh, look what we can do with modern day CGI. Look what we can do. Look what we can accomplish. And also, it kind of looks like the story itself isn't perfect. You know, the story, there is a story there, but it's not perfect. It's very, also, it kind of, it actually got found out later on after the film got released that there was also a few lawsuits launched at James Cameron because apparently he borrowed some stuff from other concepts and other films and other scripts to create Avatar.
Yeah.
So apparently Avatar is actually kind of like a construct of like, apparently a construct of like different concepts that are owned by different people, and he kind of branched it off as his own thing, which actually is kind of like a shitty thing, but James Cameron's worth more than most directors out there, so he can just brush it off. So, but I mean, I like James Cameron. He's a brilliant director. I love Aliens. I love Terminator 2. I hate Titanic because it's historically incorrect. I just hate it. But he's a great he's a great director. He's made some great films, but he's a bit too, he loves 3D though, you know, he loves he's a big fan of 3D, for the whole 3D technology, and films are moving away from 3D now and kind of going into other aspects of camera work. And people don't like him at the moment because he keeps kind of forcing 3D on us. And the avid person doesn't really see many 3D films now. I mean, I've not seen a 3D film in about 3 or 4 years. No. It was last year the last time I saw a 3D film, and that was Terminator 2 Judgment Day when they did the 4K remaster. In cinemas. That was the last time I saw a 3D film. That was last year. But other than that, I don't see 3D films because one, you have to pay like £1 or £2 more for a ticket just for that. And then half the time, there's only certain scenes that are actually in 3D anyway. It's not, the whole film is just normal, like a normal film, but the action scenes and so on and so forth, they are obviously 3D. You know, there is some films that are completely filmed with a fully 3D from start to finish, but I think there's only so many films that are actually like that. I think a couple of them are the Transformer live action films. I think Dark of the Moon. I think it's Dark of the Moon, Age of Extinction, and Last Night were filmed with a camera that actually is a 3D camera. So I think I don't know, but because there's two cameras. Michael Bay likes to kind of experiment with cameras, and he actually developed the camera that he did for the majority. I think he was part of the development of one of the main cameras. I don't know how true that is, but he was kind of like in. But yeah, he kind of like Dark of the Moon, Age of Extinction, and The Last Night were actually in IMAX 3D, and those 3 films are actually I think Revenge of the Fallen was also kind of done on IMAX camera as well.
Yeah, I've never actually seen a full feature film in an IMAX theatre.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, mate, it's just. Hey, you know, I don't know if anyone else saw this. I don't know if this means that we might see a much more fateful Alien film coming in the future, or if it's just one of those things where James Cameron has just gave an opinion on something that happened like a few years ago. But you'll remember this, Sam.
Yeah, I know where you're going to go, mate.
Yep. Do you remember Neil Blomkamp?
Yeah. You're about Alien 5.
Yeah, his concept for Alien 5, yeah. And so Sigourney Weaver was originally going to be on board for it. Right, well, pretty much just for you, Lawrence. Pretty much, if you haven't read it or seen it, but apparently James Cameron likes his idea and concept, which apparently, I don't know if it's true, but James Cameron could possibly come back and direct another, possibly, we're just kind of hoping that James Cameron, he likes it and decides to actually follow it through and make Alien 5 James Cameron, or kind of like Neil, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, it's just a shame because I've seen the concept art for Neil Blomkamp's Alien 5, and it looks absolutely amazing, and he's put so much effort and so much time into it. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I mean, the Alien franchise, we don't need any more Alien films, to be quite honest with you. We don't need them because it's a franchise that's kind of killed itself. Because like the first, for me personally, the first 3 Alien films are great. After 3, for me, I hate them. I don't like. I can't stand after 3. Even though I've got, I think I've got the first. No, I think I've got all of them. I've got all of them except for Prometheus. I do not like Prometheus. It is a terrible film. I hate it. But even though I've got Alien Covenant, which is supposed to be kind of like a sequel to Prometheus, or not a prequel. Is it? No, it's a prequel, isn't it? Yeah, it's a prequel. Yeah, it's a prequel.
I've seen Alien. I haven't seen all the Alien films. I saw the most recent one. That was the first one I'd watched in some time. I went to see the one. What was it? The one that came out last year.
Alien Covenant.
Yeah, I went to see Covenant with some friends. I liked it.
It's not bad. I mean, I didn't mind it myself, but literally you don't see any xenomorphs. You don't really. Well, you do see a xenomorph, but it's like right at the very end. It's not really an alien film. It just feels like a bog standard sci-fi movie that happens to have aliens in it. But I mean, I didn't mind it. It's not brilliant, but it's the cinematography of that film is stunning. Ridley Scott is brilliant when it comes to camera work. He really is, and he's good at creating an atmospheric feeling with it when it comes to a movie. But the story was very, very typical, standard, very obvious in a way. You knew what was going to happen. And the cast was all right to a point, but but it's a sci-fi movie. In sci-fi movies, the acting is never that brilliant because it's not really about the acting. It's more or less about what happens to the characters, because most of these characters don't last that long anyway. So what's the point in putting great acting in there because they're not going to last 5 minutes, half of them. So, but yeah, I mean, I'd like it. I mean, I don't want them to reboot. I hate reboots. I don't want them to reboot the Alien franchise. I want them to leave it alone. But I would like it if they could maybe see about making the concept of Neil Blomkamp's idea and just make that maybe the last one. Maybe kill off Sigourney Weaver's character, and that way you can't bring it back.
Well, technically, they already did kill her off.
Well, yeah, because because they brought back the clone, didn't they? They cloned her, didn't they?
Yeah.
Was that the 4th or 5th one? No, the 4th one.
It's the 3rd. Well, technically, it's the 3rd. She dies in the 3rd one, and then in the 4th one, they kind of bring her back as a clone.
Yeah.
But the whole concept of Alien 5 is to basically, effectively get rid of Alien 4, because that's just considered to be one of the worst Alien film ever made. So, kind of the idea is Alien 5 is meant to be the official sequel to Alien 2. That's the idea. Like, it's meant to basically be an alternative Alien 3.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, like I say, to be honest, he's caught up with this at the Avatar sequels, which, to be honest, by the time this film comes out, will people actually want to go and see it? Because the first Avatar came out, about 10 years ago now? Nearly? About 10 years ago. And the sequel's been in production.
Yeah, 2010.
Yeah, so it's been out for like nearly 10 years. No, if it came out like 2010, did you say it came out?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
2010, so it's 8 years then.
I remember.
So it's been out for 8 years then. The first Avatar, it's been in production. The sequel's been in production since the first one came out because it got greenlit that it will be a sequel not long after that was released because it did really, really well at the cinema. It did really well domestically as well. Automatically, it got greenlit for a sequel, but then they had a load of setbacks, and they've had setbacks for years. And it's never a good thing when you got setbacks to a film because you know that in the end run it might not be as good as it should have been. Yeah. And to be honest, that doesn't need to happen. I don't really think they need to make 5 Avatar films. It's completely ridiculous. And all it is, it's just I don't know. Because in 5 years, I don't even think for 5 years the whole 3D thing might be completely phased out completely. Might be on the next stage.
I mean, to be fair, 3D's phased out already. I mean, it really was a gimmick. I mean, I don't think anybody really even bothered with 3D TV. I know for a fact that last year, a couple of mainstream TV manufacturers confirmed that basically by the end of this year, they were going to phase out effectively the 3D TV because nobody really. There was a survey done about 3 years ago, and no surprise really, vast majority of people when he bought a telly didn't really care about the 3D feature. I mean, the 3D feature's still on most tellies. I mean, most smart tellies still have it. Hell, this PC monitor I've got has a 3D function, but I've never used it. It's just a gimmick, and I think like 99% of people when they buy something with a 3D aspect to it never use a 3D aspect because it is just a gimmick.
Well, we've got a 3D enabled TV ourselves, and we got it probably about. I don't think we got it straight away. I don't know if we got it in the same year as the release stuff. It was like a year after, like kind of like I think it was a year after the 3D TVs started coming out. We got ours, and we've probably watched the 3D. We've probably watched the 3D. I'm getting feedback on myself again. We've probably watched in a 3D Blu-ray, whatever. We've probably seen a 3D Blu-ray film on our TV about 3 times. We've only probably used the 3D function about 3 times since we've had the telly. Mainly because the glasses that come with it are individually battery powered, so you need to constantly buy these little, essentially like a type of like a watch battery. You've got to constantly keep buying them. And they only probably have enough battery life to last maybe about maximum of about 4 or 5 days, depending on how long the film is you're watching. I think the last film we watched in full 3D was Pacific Rim. So I got the 3D version on Blu-ray. And that is literally, I think, the last time. No. I think I watched Godzilla. Once on 3D because I've got the 3D version of that as well, the 2014 Godzilla film. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, 3D as a concept, I've never been a big fan of 3D from the first off. I only went to go and I've seen a few 3D films at cinema, but I've never been really wowed with it because it just does. Half the films that have the 3D,
I haven't either.
No, they don't make. That doesn't make them any better. I mean, there's probably been 1 or 2 films that I thought, that was actually quite good. You know, that actually did look like it was in my face, pretty much. But that's very few and far between. But to be honest, like 5 years down the line, five sequels for Avatar. So that's, it's probably going to be, like, each Avatar sequel is probably, well, like I said, they're doing 2 and 3 back to back. They're probably doing that because they can probably release the second one probably a year or 2 after the first one. So we're not waiting as long. We're not waiting for as long for the third.
No delays.
But it just doesn't need to happen. It just doesn't need to happen. There's no point. You know, Avatar as a concept is dead, really, to a lot of people. You know, a lot of people hated it. A lot of people didn't mind it. And I personally was one of those that didn't mind it. I was in the middle. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I was just liked it. You know, it was it's one of those films where you could just sit down with nothing else on TV with a bit of popcorn and watch it. That's that type of film for me.
Yeah. Well, you see, I mean, before the whole 3D thing came to the cinemas all them years ago, I found going to like an amusement park and just watching a, you know, like a short sort of film in 3D with 3D glasses seemed a lot more impressive. It actually looked like it actually was close to you, and it's very rare now that, you know, a few scenes. There are some films I've seen in 3D that I liked, some of the scenes I saw, like some of the a couple of the new Star Wars films in 3D, and some of the space battles look good. But apart from that, it doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah, the truth is as well, a lot of 3D films, especially a couple of years ago, when they used to have 3D, when, you know, about 6-7 years ago, there was like a massive like boom in 3D films. Like almost everything coming out in the cinema was 3D. Realistically, I'd say less than 10% of those films were actually 3D. Most of them had a bit of 3D in them, but due to the way the human brain works, a lot of the time you would not even notice when the 3D wasn't present.
No.
There was one film I went to see. I can't remember what it was. It was a good few years ago. Before I went to see it, somebody I knew mentioned to me that only the first 5 minutes are actually in 3D. And he said after about 5 minutes, he said, take your 3D glasses off, and seriously, it's all 2D. And I did just that. And I literally, the first 5 minutes of this film are all in 3D, and after that, it's 2D. It was just interesting that I was the only person in that cinema without the 3D glasses on throughout the entire film, because it literally was not in 3D, apart from, like I said, the first 5 minutes. But it was because there was now do get 3D options, but I don't think it's as big as it used to be, and the novelty has worn off.
Well, it's always has been a novelty, though, Sam. I mean, how the concept of 3D's been around since...
It's been around for decades.
It's been, well, I remember 3D for the first time. Do you remember?
The paper glasses with the red and blue lenses.
Yeah, there's them. But do you remember a museum called? Is it Eureka?
Yes.
I think I went there once on a school trip. I don't know if you was there, but I went on a school trip anyways. But I remember when they released the Treehouse of Horror episode before it was released on.
The one that had the 3D CGI element, yeah.
Yeah, and it was it was like, I don't know if they want the first, but it was kind of like they had this like auditorium kind of like set up at the time, and they showed the full episode of that Treehouse of Horror episode. It was like 10-15 minutes long. It would eventually become a Treehouse of Horror episode, but at this point they were just kind of showing you where things were going for the future. And I went in there, and it's literally one of my favorite Treehouse of Horror episodes, because I really like that special they did. But that was really clever because you had kind of like Homer Simpson kind of like being kind of like in this 3D realm, and he's kind of like being kind of pulled apart, and he ends up becoming different shapes, and it's really, really kind of weird. And that was the first time where I thought, wow, this is really good, because the 3D was actually good. You know, it was in your face. You literally saw Homer right in front of you, and it was kind of like everything that was going on was swaying through your face. And I thought that was really proper 3D, and that was really good. And that was probably a good 20-some years ago, because I probably might have been about 8 years old, probably when I saw that for the first time, probably about 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah, I remember there was one film I saw was what was it, Spy Kids 3D, Spy Kids 3 Game Over, but it was like 3D and cinema, and like you just wore the simple cardboard glasses, but that actually was good. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I never saw it, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. Now. I remember that.
Yeah, but well, we'll just see what the future brings, because, like I say, I mean, we're going down the whole 4K route, but the truth is, we can't recognize 4K, true 4K, because our eyes doesn't reach that to that extent. So.
No.
Well, I don't know. We'll see how things go, I suppose. I mean, I would like to see a really good, faithful Alien film just to finish it off. You know, just make one last Alien film and then leave it a hell of alone, because, well, they'll never do that because there's money in it.
Yeah.
I mean, they've destroyed the Predator franchise. Everything since the second Predator film is absolutely diabolically crap.
I didn't even bother to go and see the new Predator film, largely because I thought, you know what, it's going to be shit. And literally every review that came out from people that saw it was the same thing. It's a shit film.
Mm.
I mean, literally, they kept it secret. The actual film was kept secret. And they only officially announced it just after they finished filming. And they said very little about it. I think when it got revealed that it was going to be humans working with predators, it was like, what? What? And a lot of people are like, yeah, that just sounds shit.
Yeah.
And apparently the premise is that some rogue super predator goes rogue on Earth, and basically a load of human Marines team up with a predator to take it down or something. What happened to the good days of the Predator skinning people and hanging them upside down from a tree? That is what Predator's about.
Well, yeah, Predator's, you know, he goes to different worlds and he takes some trophies, and that's the whole idea of his character. And usually it's a skull from different species. I mean, like I say, Alien. Sorry, you know, the first two Predator films are good. Everything after that, and it's pretty much one of those things is that when you make too many, and you've got different. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with having a creative input or creative differences, and yeah, each director has their own way and their own way of bringing forth a story and creating this environment. And James Cameron is literally the master for doing that, as well as Ridley Scott. But I think Ridley Scott, he's kind of lost in this void at the moment. It's kind of like Alien Covenant was the first one in years. You know, obviously Ridley Scott directed the first Alien. Then the second one was Aliens, was done by obviously James Cameron. I don't think he hasn't done any of the sequels except for Covenant. So Covenant was the first one since the first for him coming back, Ridley Scott. And Ridley Scott really, but don't get me wrong, it visually was beautiful, but as a story, it really wasn't as good. You know, for what I've seen from Ridley Scott, he's made some brilliant films. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, a few people don't like this film, but it's one of my all-time favourites, and I love it. It's Gladiator. I love Gladiator.
I love it. I love Gladiator. I love it, mate.
It's long as hell, but it's bloody great. I fucking love that film, and I don't care if anyone in the comments or the chat box say it's shit, hate it. I don't give a rat's ass fuck. I love That film is one of my favorite films of all time. And then I mean, I love that film, and I also like the one with Harrison Ford.
Blade
Oh,
Runner.
Sam, you know this one. Huh?
Braveheart.
Oh, Harrison Ford.
Bloody hell, you want about
Summit Runner.
Runner?
Huh?
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
Thank you. Yeah.
Blade Runner. Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant.
I haven't seen the second one yet. It got really good ratings, but I really need to check that out at some time. Pick it up. But I've yet to watch Blade Runner in its entirety because every time I put it on, I start to fall asleep. Even though it's visually beautiful, but the problem is it's really difficult with Blade Runner which version to watch, because you've got the original one and then you've got all these different fucking other versions after it. I mean, the one I've got's the final cut, and I've been told that the one I've got, the final cut, is the best cut. But then I've been told the best cut's the original cut. I'm like, what the fuck do I watch then? You know what I mean? It's I don't get it. I don't get which version I'm supposed to watch.
That's like what version of the original Star Wars should be watched, because now there's now so many different edits of it. Just watch the original untouched versions on that.
The original untouched versions of the Star Wars films are the best. I can't stand. I've got them. I mean, I've got the originals as well, but they come with the remastered. The box sets I've got, they're actually it's the remastered box set as well. And I watched I watched one of them, and literally I'm just like, you fucking destroyed this film, putting these extra CGI monsters in there where they don't need to be there. I was furious. I didn't even finish watching it. I literally, as soon as obviously Obi-Wan and Luke was going into the Cantana bar, whatever you call it, and you see all those extra bloody aliens and everything that were like, wait a minute, they weren't there to begin with. I literally turned it off and just chucked it away. I just turned it off and chucked it on my bed, never watching that fucking atrocity again. And I thought, right, give me the original untouched version, untarnished version. Anytime. I can't stand.
You actually throw the disc away.
I didn't throw the disc. I just took it out.
You actually keep it.
Well, I've kept it because I've kept it, but I'm not going to watch it again. I'm just going to stick to the original cut, the original untouched version, because they generally are. Yeah, they're tired for today's standard, but they are really, really clever, because most of it was done by bloody little, like, obviously hand-built practical sets and models. So all the ships are actually all models, and then little stages where they used to do their acting. You know, it was really, really clever. I mean, I love practical effects anyway. I put practical effects in higher regard than CGI, because it's a dying art now, and not many people do practical. It's just all CGI because it's easier, and half the time it's probably a bit cheaper as well. Because practical effects, it's probably quite expensive with practical effects, because obviously you've got to create the characters, you've got to sculpt them, you've got to create the puppets, then you've got to pay an actor to actually be the actual puppet. Then there's voice actors involved as well, because sometimes, well, if you look at Henson's stuff, most of the puppeteers are actually voice actors, such as like Frank Oz. You know, Frank Oz who did Yoda. Frank Oz is actually a voice actor as well as puppeteer. And the same as the guy who also did. Yeah, the same guy who did Kermit the Frog originally, and also the guy that took over him, because there's a new guy who does Kermit now. So pretty much like they were voice actors as well as actual puppeteers.
Wild changes, mate. although I generally love practical effects, and I will say now two films which have some of the best practical effects ever have got to be these, in my opinion anyway, for these two films right here. And they've got some of the best practical effects ever.
Oh yeah, Labyrinth, yeah. Dragonheart. Yeah, I love Labyrinth because it's Jim Henson. Jim Henson did all the puppeteering.
You actually seen Dragonheart, mate?
I think I have years ago. I haven't watched it in a long time though.
Bloody brilliant film.
You know, to bring it around sometime, we'll watch it. So literally, I haven't got. You know what? I don't actually own that many. I don't actually know. I only own one film that has a dragon in it, and that is Mulan. And he's not really a dragon. Well, he is a dragon. Literally,
Yeah,
I only have Mulan, the animated Disney Mulan, and that is the only film I've got a dragon in. That's got a dragon in it that I own. I don't have any other film. I need to get the Is it Never Ending Story with that big great dragon?
Yeah, Look Dragon.
Yeah, I need to get that. I love that. That is a good practical effect film as well. And guess who voiced him? Guess who voiced the big great
Eddie Murphy.
Nope. No, the Never Ending Story. Who voiced the big dragon?
No, who was?
Sorry?
Frank Oz.
Nope.
Who was it?
Can you think of anyone, Sam? Without looking on Google?
I'm good. I'm not actually looking on Google. I'm actually at Amazon, mate. I'm just getting together some Christmas ideas. And guess what? Frank Welker by any chance?
Nope.
Oh bloody hell! Is that Gary Sharp?
Nope. This is like way before they started really coming on the scene, Sam, with the voice acting. Like. Sorry?
Orson Welles?
Nope. You would have heard of him, and he's mostly known for an 80s cartoon. That's all I'm going to say. But a series that came out in the 80s that was massively popular.
Well, that could be a lot of things, mate. There was a lot of massively popular stuff.
That's all I'm saying, because as soon as I say the title of the series, you'll get it straight away.
It could be anybody.
Right, have you given up?
Well, yeah, if it's 80s, bloody hell. It's got a decade.
Yeah. Could be
Right.
Thundercats, Transformers. You know.
Nope. Yep, but no, none of those. Right, I'll tell you now. Okay, I'll put you out your miseries because I know you're all really anxiously waiting for the verdict of who played the big dragon in that film. All right, okay. It was Alan Offenheim who played. I think Offenheim, that's how you pronounce his second name. Who played Skeletor in He-Man.
As I did say, He-Man, yeah, He-Man, Transformers, or what was it?
Yeah,
or
but,
Thundercats.
But yeah, it was He-Man. But what I'm saying is he played Skeletor. So the guy who played Skeletor, Alan Offenheim, played the great dragon guy in Neverending Story. Well, did the voice anyway.
Yeah.
Apparently, he was actually on set. Apparently, I don't know if he was part of the puppeteering guys as well, because the way they did it, I think he did his voicing work on the side of the set, so it's kind of like you can hear him off set. But I don't know if he was either did that or if he was actually part of the head. I don't know because he was physically on set when they did the speaking parts. But I don't know because obviously if you notice, it's like a massive big puppet, isn't it? It's like you've got somebody inside the head moving the head and the mouth and the eyes, and then you've got like probably a lot of people in the back of it as well, kind of like. You know them like Chinese dragons at like festivals, and you kind of see them kind of moving it all. Kind of a similar thing, but I don't know if he was either in the head itself, so like he was like at front, kind of. I don't know if it was just offset, but he was actually not physically on set when he was doing the voices. I only found that out. Guess how? I found that out through a TV thing, a documentary they did on Netflix. That was going into the background of He-Man. It's like a feature length thing, and it's all about He-Man and the toys and everything. And I watched it, and they had Alan Offenheim on there being interviewed. And he said that he actually voiced the Dragon in Neverending Story as well as Skeletor, obviously. And he's actually in a lot of stuff. He's also in G.I. Joe as well. I believe he plays. I think he plays. Who's one of the big guys in the bad guys in G.I. Joe? The one that has like the blue and a silver.
You know about Cobra Commander?
Is it Cobra Commander? It might be Cobra Commander. I don't know. I think it's Cobra Commander because they share a similar voice to him and Skeletor. So I think but he's in pretty much a lot of stuff during the 80s anyways. Same as Gary Chalk. Sorry, not Gary Chalk. Peter Cullen. Because Peter Cullen did a lot of narration work as well. Peter Cullen actually did the narration work on a few in the 80s. But yeah.
I think I know Tim Curry. I mean, he's obviously a very famous, physical actor. He did a lot of voices for animation as well. He was in Captain Planet, and
I hated Captain Planet.
Yeah, shit.
It literally, he was probably the worst superhero ever on the grounds that you could defeat him with a bit of dirt. Literally, the amount of times he would be summoned and he'd be beaten because somebody would throw something dirty at him. Literally, he was the worst superhero ever. Literally. It was the main characters who controlled the elements. They literally did more than he did. Literally. They created him and he practically got beaten every time because, it'd be like, oh, look, a dirty napkin. Oh, my God, I'm dying. Yeah. Literally. It was just ridiculous.
yeah.
Never been a fan of that. I mean, it was a good show. It was very good, but it just...
It wasn't a good show, Sam. It was shit.
Well, him as a character... Yeah, okay, yeah, it was shit. It was. You just can't take the guy seriously. Bit of dirty water and you beat him.
Yeah, I know. What was that?
So, is there anything else anyone want to talk about? I can't really think of anything else at the moment. There we go. Here's something I've just thought about just on the whim. What films are you looking forward to? Probably stuff that's yet to come out this year and for the future.
Everything coming out in December, because there's like 5 or 6 films coming out in December I want to see.
Which is?
Next year, How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, which is the final part. Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
Next year, we've got Star Wars Episode 9. That's out. Avengers Infinity War Part 2. That's out next year. Spider-Man Far From Home. That's out next year, I believe. What else? Captain Marvel. That's next year. I think Wonder Woman 2. Is that next year?
What?
Wonder Woman 2, the sequel to Wonder Woman. I think that's next year.
I think that is next year.
There's a lot of stuff I want to see next year. I mean, literally, there's about 5 or 6 films coming out in December that I want to see.
What you watch,
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse,
Yep.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Mortal Engines. I want to go see that.
Nah, not as bothered.
What else is out? It's coming out.
Stupid concept.
Yeah.
It's just such a stupid concept. All the major cities in the world have been figured into big, like, movable engine things. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I know it's fantasy, but what the fuck? Someone had to be on fucking some really big, fucking horrible, massive drug for that to work.
I don't know I think Power Rangers 2 is probably going to be 2020, isn't it? I don't know when they're going to start production on it, because I know that Hasbro confirmed.
I actually got a date on that. Hang on. Hasbro bought it, didn't they? So.
Well, Hasbro have said they are considering of either making a sequel to the other one, or they are still interested in making a live action movie franchise out of the Power Rangers brand. Don't know when.
I don't know. I'd probably say it's actually going to be a while. I'd probably say it's 2022, because basically, upcoming from Hasbro, we've got this year, December 21st, we've got Bumblebee. We've got a G.I. Joe film coming out 2020 called G.I. Joe Ever Vigilant. Then they're doing the Micronauts again 2020. There's an untitled Dungeons & Dragons reboot 2021. Then after that, so 2022 beyond, you've got Magic the Gathering. Then for some reason they're doing a Play-Doh film. John, you might be happy about this. They've confirmed a live-action Beyblade film.
Really?
Yeah, that's big. Mask, they're doing that. Untitled as of yet Power Rangers sequel. So that'll most likely be 2022. So within the next 4 years, I'd say.
Yeah, because I think they did confirm it was going to be an official sequel to the 2017 film.
Yeah.
Which I did hear. Yeah. The live action Lion King. That's what I want to see that next year.
I am looking forward to that. The live action Aladdin is literally 1 month before the live action Lion King. So I'm hoping we'll get a teaser for the Lion King in the next month, because you've already done the teaser for the Aladdin film. So I'm hoping we'll get the teaser for the Lion King sometime in the next month.
I was sold just at hearing the voice of Frank Welker. Diamond in the rough.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm more interested in the Lion King than I am Aladdin. I am going to go and see Aladdin. I love Aladdin.
I loved Aladdin when I was a kid. I think Aladdin was my all-time favourite, and then The Lion King came after that for me.
Unlike most,
the Lion King holds a place in my heart.
Like most young boys, you really got a hankering for Jasmine.
No, not really.
Well, you're gay, Sam, that's why.
Yeah.
I am hoping, because I know, you see, the live-action Lion King, the release, I don't know what the release date is. I think it's the 25th of June, I think. It's basically the day it's released, it's 25 years to the day the original Lion King was released. And I really, really want that original film to have a release in cinemas the week before the live-action film, because I just want to go and see it in the cinemas, the original.
Yeah.
They've got to. They need to.
I went to see it back. I went to see the original film in 2012 when the Blu-ray was released. I went to go and see it. It was also re-released at the cinema.
Yeah, I did.
But I think I just went to see it.
Yeah, I remember that. I went to see it as well.
But The Lion King holds a place in my heart because that was the very first film I think I got taken to see at the cinema.
Yes, same here.
I have memories. I saw it twice, I think.
That's strange, that. Like, the first film for the three of us that we went to see as a kid, that we ever went to cinema to see, is The Lion King for all three of us. That's actually kind of weird.
Yeah, I think I was 5.
Because the second film I went to see is Toy Story. And I think after that would have been Bug's Life, A Bug's Life. Because A Bug's Life came out about... Oh, no, I don't know. just trying to think of the films I went to see when I was little, because my mum took me to see, when I was little, she took me to see a lot of the Disney films that came out, Pixar and Disney.
Yeah.
Because my mum loves Disney, she loves the Pixar films, she thinks they're really clever. She also enjoyed the DreamWorks stuff,
think-
Shrek and stuff.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I saw Sleeping Beauty when that was re-released, because obviously that was one of the old classics. That's what I went to see with my mum and my aunt. Yeah, Sleeping Beauty, 100, the animated original 101 Dalmatians. What was it? Yeah, I never actually saw the first Toy Story in cinemas. Never got the chance to. Everyone, it was such hype about it, but I got the video for Christmas 1995. I saw, what was it? Yeah, I saw Toy Story. Well, no, A Bug's Life, then Toy Story 2. Tarzan. Saw Tarzan in cinema.
Yeah, I saw Tarzan.
Hercules. Yeah.
I think I saw that at cinema.
I saw Tarzan at the cinema. I can't remember if I saw Hercules. I remember Tarzan. I remember
There was some that I got on VHS just as like birthday presents, but
yeah, I saw Mulan at the cinema because my mum really liked that one.
Yeah, I remember that at the cinema. Yeah, I saw
Mulan.
that.
Yeah, I saw Mulan at the cinema.
That's getting a live action remake, isn't it? I bet that one could be quite good.
Ironically, there's already a live action film for that, and it was released by an Asian cinema. It's basically based on the real Mulan's life, the actual genuine story of it. It's really good.
I need to check that out.
I did hear that. I did hear that Disney are redoing it as well.
Disney,
it's going to be more based on the animated film.
with the exception of Star Wars, Disney is basically remaking everything they've ever done into live action.
And they're also doing they're doing a live action this year, aren't they, of the Nutcracker, is it?
Well, technically, it's Nutcracker and the Four Realms. It's based off one of the books. It's not a remake of the original Nutcracker.
I thought it was a Disney.
I'm going to see that because that does look good. I'm going to see that.
Yeah, it just looks a little bit like Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, but it's fantasy.
I have to say, as a kind of guilty pleasure, I probably will go and see this new Mary Poppins.
Yeah, you're going to see.
Why not? But no, I'm not, because I don't like Mary Poppins. I didn't like the original.
I'm not going to go see it, mate. No, I really think it's just pointless doing this sequel because I mean, I remember in the cinema on both occasions in the last month when I've been to the cinema and that's popped up the teaser for it. A lot of people have been like, "Why the hell are they making another Mary Poppins?" I don't think that many people are really interested. I mean, it'll probably do well, but I'm not going to bother. It's just really, I'm not interested in it. I'm not that keen on the Mary Poppins itself. You know, I've seen it that many times, and after a while, it just loses its appeal.
I've watched it probably from beginning to end once, well, maybe once or twice, and I just don't like it. I mean, I've got nothing against Audrey Hepburn that played. You know, she did a brilliant part as Mary Poppins, and I've forgotten the guy who. I've forgotten the. Sorry?
That's Julie Andrews.
No, it's
Julie Andrews who plays Mary Poppins.
That's right, yeah. You'd know. I wouldn't. But no, it's just. I don't like it because I think for me, the reason why I don't like it is the child actors. I hate the child actors because they're trying way too hard to be posh.
Well, when did it come out? It was the 60s, wasn't it?
50s, 60s, I don't know.
Yeah, because it was. I think that was one of my mum's all-time favourites, and
no, it's just the whole posh accent. I hate posh people. You know, I've got nothing against them per se. It's just how they talk really infuriates me because it makes them feel that they're elevated over somebody else. It's just like they're kind of like it makes you know that they always seem to have their noses up against the sky and their shit doesn't smell. That kind of people, and I fucking hate them. Nothing against you personally. It's just I find the accent is annoying.
Trying to think. I've seen most of the. I think I've seen pretty much most of the Pixar films at the cinema. Not so many in the recent years. I think the last one I saw at the cinema was probably Pixar. It could have either been it was either probably WALL-E or Ratatouille. I haven't been to. Oh no, it would have been Toy Story 3.
I love both WALL-E and Ratatouille are the great films.
Yeah, they are.
See, the way I've always looked at it, there were two when it comes to kids.
Oh, obviously Monsters University as well. Monsters University.
See, the way I look at it, when it comes to kid films, there's two types, right? There are family films, which are brilliant because they're designed to entertain a family. So there's something in it for the kids, something in it for the adults. Then you get pure kid films, which, in my opinion, are usually terrible because they're just aimed to really entertain kids in general. So there's nothing in it that's entertaining.
This is probably going to make you feel sick that I mentioned this. I don't know. See, when my little sister was about 3, she was obsessed with like Thomas the Tank Engine, as every little kid was. Yeah. And one of the first films we took her to see, was A Bug's Life. The first film my mum and I took my little sister to see. I don't know if you remember this film, Thomas and the Magic Railroad.
Yep.
It was like an Americanized version of it. Oh God, and that was just pants. But my sister loved it, but it's terrible. Because like Peter Fonda was in it, Alec Baldwin's in it, Mara Wilson, the famous kid actor from Matilda, she's in it. Oh. Yeah. I mean, when I remember Thomas the Tank Engine from when I was very little, I have vague memories of like the Ringo Starr voicing him as like the puppets.
He voiced all the characters. He was the narrator. Because, I mean, I used to like Thomas the Tank Engine. I also used to like Postman Pat as well. The original Postman Pat.
Yeah.
Not the
Me,
stuff
it was,
now,
yeah.
Oh, the stuff that they made nowadays, like special postal status now. Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, I hate this. I've seen just clips of like the CGI Noddy. Oh, that's terrible.
Don't get me on
the Noddy I remember is the Cosgrove.
Don't get
the
me
Noddy
started.
series I remember is the Cosgrove.
Don't get me started.
And then bloody Bob the Builder.
Oh God. I didn't mind it when I was younger. Like the original one with the guy from Men Behaving Badly. That was the voice of Bob.
Yeah.
I really liked Noddy as well when I was little. But
I used to love it. The Cosgrove Hall Noddy that was like the like model puppets that Cosgrove Hall who did Noddy. They did the Noddy series I was most familiar with. The one with like the puppets and the stop motion. Yeah, not like this bloody CGI that they. What was it? There was Fireman Sam.
Yeah, loved it.
Postman Pat.
Yeah.
Paddington. Little Paddington Bear.
Yeah, I liked Paddington. I also like the live actions they've done as well. Yeah. I haven't seen the second one yet, but the first one's really quite good. It's actually.
My mum loves Paddington.
I mean, like when I first heard about the Paddington live actions, when I first heard about the Paddington live action films, I was a bit dubious because I thought it looks nothing like Paddington. You know, it does nothing like it. I mean, the family doesn't look right or anything, and kind of like seeing him trying like cleaning out his ears and the earwax on the toothbrush and things like that. And I thought, this isn't Paddington. I think the trailer was shit, personally, but the film itself is actually really good. There's a lot of praise from people.
The film is good. I've not seen Paddington 2 yet. I mean,
it's on Amazon Prime.
Surprisingly,
I might watch it tonight, actually.
Yeah.
After this, I might watch it tonight. So I haven't seen the second one, but I've heard the second one is very clever. Apparently, I think they've used the whole, where it kind of looked like a paper book. Like in the original animated thing was like puppets, but it was also like the humans were like drawn. If that makes any sense, it was like kind of like a puppet book. I think they kind of used that kind of thingy in the film to make it feel a little bit more like Paddington, as we all know. But I mean, I like it. Well, that's the thing. I mean, proof's in the pudding, proof's in the viewing half the time. I mean, trailers, you get some trailers that do a good job, and you get also some trailers that do a really bad job. To try and convey the story properly. I understand you're not supposed to.
Is now in
Sorry?
A lot of trailers actually include stock footage. A lot of trailers now include stock footage that isn't actually in the film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that pisses me off. There's been a few films I went to see the film.
A good example of that is the 2012 shit that was the Fantastic Four film.
Never saw it.
Yeah, it literally the entire trailer for that film was made up of footage that was not in the film. It was actually made up of footage from what was supposed to be the original release of the film. That halfway through filming, the producers and stuff, the studio, decided actually we don't want any of that in it. We want this instead. But yeah, oh god, I regret seeing that film. That was just it was so bad.
I never saw it, and I'm kind of happy. I mean, to be honest,
also Spider-Man reboot, Spider-Man. That trailer for the first Amazing Spider-Man had quite a bit of footage in it that wasn't used in the film. I think they were going to explain a bit more in the first film originally about what Peter's father actually did, how the spiders were bred and all that.
I always describe it. Did you know that the original cut, like the original cut for Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith, right, Episode 3? Originally, I was looking into it today. Originally, that film would have been 4 hours long because there was a lot of stuff cut from it. There was stuff which George Lucas wanted to do, but there was a lot of people saying it's not a good idea because he actually really wanted to get into the meat of Order 66, the Jedi Purge. Originally, that was going to be an hour long. There was going to be an hour long, and you were going to literally see the aftermath as well. You were going to get to see Anakin, now Darth Vader, walking around the temple and seeing all the damage and all the destruction and basically everything like that. They never did it. There was literally loads of stuff in that film that was never done largely because of budgets, but also because a lot of people are worried, if we make it too dark, we know it's not. We kind of got to make it family friendly kind of thing. But originally, it was going to be a lot longer.
I mean, I don't think having like a 4-hour film would have redeemed it anymore. But saying that, I think Episode 3 was a little bit of a recovery, a bit of a redemption compared to Episodes 1 and 2.
Well, I'd agree on that. Although I will firmly stand by my belief that Episode 1, the fight Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, that is an epic fight. That's probably the best part of the film.
It is, yeah.
That fight, that's the best part of it.
It is, yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, when I saw the film as a kid, because we went to see it at the cinema so many times, my little sister kept wanting to go back because she loved Jar Jar Binks. That lightsaber fight is good. The fighting sequences are definitely something the prequels got right, and they did it well because they're supposed to be the Jedi in their prime, and they got that definitely right. And And in episode 2, I did like the fight on Geonosis. When you see like 4 or 5, there's like hundreds of Jedi fighting against the droids and the Geonosian creatures.
Ah, Father Sam, I've just got your email.
Good. I was actually going to ask about that if you got it. I sent that about maybe an hour ago.
9:15, when we literally just went live. Roughly.
It's been nearly 2 hours then.
What's it? I know that this sixth series of Clone Wars is meant to be firmly based during Order 66. So obviously this will be the new Disney canon.
It's only going to be one season, but it's literally finishing off Clone Wars because they never actually finished it. And yeah, it's literally going to be set just before, during, and after Order 66. And if they do it the way I think they're doing it, you should see Ahsoka having a fight with Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Because the original concept was that during this that's coming out next year was that Anakin would meet up with Ahsoka, and Ahsoka would be I don't know where she'd be on Mandalore during Order 66 with a load of clone troopers, and she'd take on Darth Maul because during that point in time, Darth Maul was on Mandalore, and she actually gets him as a fight with him. So I'm actually hoping we get to see that.
Is it this year or has it been pushed back to? Is it being pushed to January next year? Because there's another film that's coming out. That's supposed to be coming out this year, but I don't know if it's been pushed back to early next year. That James Cameron is producer on, and that's Alita Battle Angel, a live-action film.
I think it's this year.
Yeah,
that was supposed to be December, but I've heard it's been pushed back again. It got pushed back twice. I don't know if they're maybe doing like touch-ups or they've had to maybe do some reshoots. Maybe I don't know, but they've pushed it back twice. It's supposed to be December, but I think it's been pushed back.
Yeah, it's February.
February now.
Yeah, February.
They might have had to do some reshoots. That's the only thing I can think of. Because I'm really looking forward to that. That was a film I was looking forward to this year. But maybe they've done it. Oh, it could just be they've done it purposely because there's too many films that could hurt the box office revenue for Alita.
Yeah.
Because
I think is the reason partly why Solo was moved forward because of all the films that's coming out near Christmas.
Yeah, because
probably would overshadow it.
Well, it wasn't. To be fair, Solo was Disney's lesson. Disney learned the hard way that releasing a film every year is not going to work because Solo didn't do as well at the box office as they thought it would. And after that, they kind of thought, you know what, if we release a film every year, we'll kill the franchise. So they announced that they were setting back a lot of the films. So obviously we've got episode 9 next year. Then after that, it's not really sure what's happening after that. I mean, the Boba Fett film's kind of on hold. I wouldn't say it's been cancelled. I just think it's probably on hold. The Obi-Wan film, again, is kind of on hold. They are going to happen, but I think they're going to be they'll wait a bit longer. I mean, there's probably a list somewhere of it. Let's have a look here. I mean, what have we got here? I mean, what's coming up? So, future releases. So, For Star Wars. So, Star Wars. Didn't realise that was next year. No, this might not be listed here. No, it won't be under that. It'll be.
Oh.
Yeah, this is annoying. Right, so this is the updated one. So it should give us something to go with. Okay. So obviously, Star Wars Episode 9 will be released December 20th next year.
Yeah.
Then there's a untitled Star Wars film coming out 2020.
Yeah.
That may or may not be happening, considering the Boba Fett film is being cancelled. So I don't know whether or not that is actually happening. There's the Obi-Wan Kenobi film, which I think is still going to happen.
They have cancelled the Boba Fett film.
Yeah, the Boba Fett film's been cancelled.
But it's still.
Well, officially, it's been cancelled. Then you've got a new Star Wars trilogy, which the rumor is that it's going to be some form of like prequel, like set during the Old Republic. This is what a lot of people are curious about. It got confirmed there's going to be a Star Wars series by the Game of Thrones producers.
Yeah.
So that should be interesting. So obviously the Boba Fett film's been sold. So yeah,
it's a shame because I really would have liked to.
It would have been
standalone film.
In order then. So we've got Episode 9 December next year. Then after that, there's another Star Wars film coming out in 2020 that's as of yet doesn't have a name to it, so we don't know what it is, but it is coming. We've confirmed that. The Obi-Wan Kenobi film is still happening. And that is still happening. I'm sure of it. They've also confirmed Rian Johnson's going to be directing a trilogy for probably 2023 onwards. There's going to be a series.
Prequel to the prequel.
Well, probably, yeah. There'll be a series by Game of Thrones producers. Boba Fett's obviously cancelled for the foreseeable future. So there's a hell of a lot coming out. You've got to be aware as well that Disney will keep a lot of it under wraps. So, obviously, whatever reason, it will be under wraps for obvious reasons.
But do you think all this continuous stuff just to make money, is it eventually just going to kill the franchise? Because Star Wars is a classic franchise.
I mean, so far, I've liked what Disney have done so far. No complaints at all from me. But I do think they will potentially kill it eventually. I think they were heading that way. I think Solo was a massive wake-up call because it bombed at the box office. It didn't do very well. I mean, although I thought it was a good film, I enjoyed it, I can see why Disney thought, hang on, yeah, we might want to rethink everything. I think what will happen is, I think after episode 9, they'll probably have to do some thinking. It's going to go one of two ways. It'll either be episode 9 will be great, then after that, you know, you've got to think to yourself, will it get to a point where they'll make films and making films, and you will get shit Star Wars films?
Yeah, well, I have to say, I mean, what's it? If episode 9 is really good, well, I don't know how if we can expect it to be really, really good, but if it's a good film, I'm going to say, you know, I didn't think The Last Jedi was as bad as a lot of people think, but I can see why it got this very kind of mixed criticism.
I mean, I'm the same. I enjoyed it. I like it. Again, I can understand, to an extent, I can understand the criticism, but I stand by my belief. The reason why so much criticism happened was because fans spent 2 years writing it. There was literally dozens of hundreds of YouTube videos, loads of people saying this is what's going to happen, and it didn't. And they're starting to do it again for the next film. There's already videos popping up on YouTube of fan theories and apparent leaks and rumours. I've not watched any of them. I'm literally going to walk into that film next year with absolutely no pre-knowledge apart from teasers and just base it off that. That's all I'm going to do.
Yeah. Because about this, I heard about this Rian Johnson trilogy, and I think potentially, I don't know if they should move forward after this trilogy and just tell a completely new story. So potentially more films set in the past timeline probably is a good idea. But I mean, given the terrible reception that George Lucas's prequels got, and given that was George Lucas, not blinking Disney, an official prequel to the prequels, I don't know where that could go.
Well, the in-standing joke about the original prequel, the George Lucas prequel trilogy, is that it's largely walking and talking. You know, you don't have a lot of action. It's just people talking. And the whole Jar Jar thing, you didn't need a comedy relief in the first film. There's no comedy relief in the original trilogy at all. You know, I mean, C-3PO...
Well, except for sort of C-3PO and R2-D2 kind of thing could be.
Yeah, but
no, the idea of having
Jar Jar was painful, mate. You know, I mean, he was a painful comedy relief. Yeah. It's a type of comedy relief that is put there and is forcing funny, and that doesn't work.
No. The kind of things, I mean, you had other sort of funny characters that smaller parts that you had Watto, Watto and like Sebulba, a lot of the characters on Tatooine. Those little characters are okay because they're not in the film all the way through. But yeah, I think Jar Jar was what a lot of the adults hated about episode 1. And episode 2, he's in a few scenes, but then in episode 3, he doesn't even get a line. You just see him at the end at Padme's funeral. That's it. So,
well, interestingly, about a couple of months ago, there was an official canon story released for Jar Jar, explaining what happened to him after episode 3, and he's basically the most hated person in the universe because he's effectively responsible for the fall of the Jedi in the Rise of the Empire, because he was the one who
gave the power to
Yeah, exactly. As he said, he gave Palpatine the emergency powers, and that's what led to everything going wrong. If he hadn't done that, it would have been very different. So he's literally the most hated person in the galaxy. It was. I read about it recently. It's like an official story for him now.
As long as it don't get a film, it's. I'm sure it won't, but hey. I heard the one prequel character I've heard possibilities could get a standalone film is Darth Maul. I've heard that
Yeah.
possibility.
I'd like that. He's my favourite Sith, is Darth Maul.
Yeah.
I don't know if you, Sam must almost certainly would have known about this, but apparently they finally made the very first female Sith canon.
Oh, I heard about her.
Yeah, so there's now a female Sith that they've actually made official canon now. So maybe Disney are considering making a film for that one.
Well, there's quite a few female Sith. I mean, have they said who it is?
She.
I mean, who is she? I mean, there's quite a few of them, mate, female Sith.
Let me have a look.
Just gonna go to the loo quickly, guys. Be back in a minute.
Okay. Yeah, this was 4 days ago. Let me just have a look. The link there for you, Sam, should pop up on your screen.
Let's have a look, because I know quite a few of the female Sith, but there's quite a few of them. Right, Lady Shah, right, but she's in the new canon, so she's brand new.
Yeah, so she's the very first one to be made into canon. I won't be surprised if Disney decide to do that, because they seem to be going down the whole female route with like Rogue One and the new trilogy where it's following a female Jedi.
Well, I wouldn't say it's anything new. I mean, like I said, there's loads of female Sith. I mean, the most famous one is Darth Traya. She's from the old Knights of the Old Republic games. She's probably the most famous female Sith because she started out as a Jedi, then became a Sith, then went back to being a Jedi, then became a Sith again. But she's the most famous female Sith. The problem is, mate, is we're in an age now where people seem to think that any sort of female character in a new canon or a new world is somehow feminism. But nobody thought that like 10 years ago. Apparently, that everything's feminism now for some reason. But yeah, Darth Traya, she's probably the most famous female Sith, at least from the original canon, anyway. I should let you know pre-hand, mate, you are going to be getting quite a lot for your birthday.
Oh dear.
I've been making preparations for almost a year.
I haven't bloody thought about anything yet.
Yeah, well, this is largely because you've had a shit last 18 months, so, this is kind of my way of trying to make you feel happy.
Yeah. You're going to somehow put a really beautiful lady in there or something as well.
Well, Lizzie said she doesn't like the idea of being posted out to you, so, I can get it, I can do it.
Yeah.
One of the things I've got to be honest, I am pretty happy I managed to get hold of one, because I actually generally thought the chances of ever finding one was pretty much zero. but I found one, mint condition, never opened. So I think we'd be pretty impressed.
I don't know what to get you for Christmas now because you put loads of stuff and don't even know what I could get you now.
I'll probably think of something.
I'll get you nothing. It's cheaper.
You sound like your dad there, mate.
Mine too. I think, what do I want?
I think for
I'm trying to think, really.
I think my birthday, I think I'm mainly going to probably getting either vouchers or money in a card or something like that this year, for the most part. Which is good, which means I can
Do
go
you still
out.
plan to get
Sorry?
You still plan to get Red Dead Redemption? You still plan to get Red Dead Redemption 2, the game?
I can't because my PlayStation doesn't have enough room for it. It's a bit of a twat, really, because I think mine's only a 60 gig, which is one of the original run, and that game is 100 gig space. So for now, I might not be able to until I actually upgrade.
You could get an external hard drive, you'd work.
Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe just upgrading the internal hard drive because you can just take it out and put another one in. I had to find out how the hell to do that. My dad would probably know how to get into it. The last thing I want to do, I'll probably do it and I'll probably break it.
Yeah, you're not the only one there, mate.
Yeah, I mean, literally, if I can find out what kind of type, because obviously it must have to be quite a thin one, not like a long and thin. So it might not be like a really bulky hard drive.
No, external mate. The PlayStation hard drives aren't bulky at all. They're pretty much external. Besides, modern hard drives aren't bulky. They're at the slimline.
True. But I'm thinking of getting either a 1 or a 2 terabyte. I mean, I know you can go more than a 2 terabyte, but I think maybe a 1 or a 2, maybe see after Christmas, I might upgrade that to maybe a 2 terabyte hard drive. I don't know if I might have to maybe the cooling. Would I have to maybe get a cooling fan for a 2 terabyte? Would it increase the?
No, your hard drive's got all to do with power consumption. It's just a storage device, mate. It's all it does. It stores information. It doesn't have any effect on the speed or heat of your computer, PlayStation, whatever. The only thing that affects heat in a console or a computer is largely the PCU, so the processor, or the graphics card. So two things that will increase heat. Your hard drive works. It's just that storage. It's all it does. They don't really get hot.
Right. Well, I might have I'll probably look into it probably after Christmas. Because like I say, I mean, if I've got like a normal external hard drive, that's at least either a 1 or a 2 terabyte, and then just see about just open it up and swap it around for a new one. Might be a hell of a lot cheaper because
it's easy to do, mate. It's designed to do that. I mean, there's bloody hell videos on YouTube that tell you how to do it. It's not that difficult.
Yeah. Might be a cheaper alternative, really, because I was thinking about just maybe seeing about getting an actual Pro, but like I say, I don't have a 4K TV, so I'm kind of wasting my money on it. And plus, we can't see 4K. So
that's the thing. They're just starting to release 8K tellies. You can't even see 8K. That's like way beyond the human eye.
True.
It's kind of pointless, really, because like I said, we can see HD, but we can't see past that. I mean, 4K you can't see, as you said, and 8K you can't see. You literally cannot see past HD spectrum.
season 4 box set of MLP is I think available now.
Yeah, it is. I'll have to get it at some point. I've got
Hell.
3 seasons.
It's only £10.
I know.
Of October this month officially, and it's only £10 for a 4-disc box set. Bloody hell! I didn't realise it would be that cheap. I thought it'd be maybe about £15 because this is a full 20-something episode season. 26.
Yeah.
26, 28.
How much is it? £9.99?
£10.
£10.
Oh, blimey.
£9.99 for a 26 episode series.
The MLP movie's now on Netflix.
Yeah. They've also got the Christmas special as well, but apparently a few people have been watching it online.
Yeah, it's been leaked online.
I think it's supposed to be going on Netflix as well soon. I think actually no, I think it's yesterday. I think it went up on Netflix yesterday in America, and I think that's probably why I've been seeing it about. I think they said something about the 28th of October they were going to put it up on Netflix, the Christmas special as well, and then obviously they're releasing the DVD. And that's £15. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and there's more.
Oh no, it's not out yet. It's not out till the November 26th. That doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, the special is £15, but yeah, season 4 is only £10. That makes zero sense to me. Literally, that makes zero sense to me. Is it a feature-length thing, or is it like a little mini series?
The Christmas special is 45 minutes long.
So it's pretty much like a special. £15
I don't think I'd pay that for it.
£15 for just 45 minutes. That has to be wrong. They've also released the specials as well for Equestria Girls separately. That's only £5. Yeah, well. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, Sam, I finally managed to purchase the original Grudge on DVD, the one that I used to have.
Oh, yeah.
And it was only £5.50.
Ah, that's not bad. It's good, actually.
Yeah, I bought it. I found it yesterday on Amazon, and I thought, I wonder if they've got it anywhere. And I thought, oh, there it is. But I don't know if it's a slightly different one. It's the same cover, but according to the one I've got, it says on the thing it's a special collector's edition. But once I get that, that'll mean I've got the first 3.
I've got all of them, mate. I've got Ju-Hoon 1, 2, and Black Ghost, White Ghost.
I ain't got Black Ghost, White Ghost. I need to get that, but I've got 1, 2, and 3 the Grudge films. The third one, which is actually the American one, which is shit compared to the other 2, but I haven't got that one either. But I want to get. I don't know if they're released outside Japan, but they're released. Basically, it's the Ring Ghost, or the Ring Spirit Demon, or whatever, and the Grudge, and it's kind of them, like fighting together or something. It's like.
Oh, you're on about Grudge versus the Ring, yeah. Do you know why that was done?
Why?
It was done because there was some sort of April Fool's thing involving it, and it was so popular they didn't like an actual film. What I've actually heard, this Ring Grudge versus Ring, it's more of a kind of soft comedy than an actual serious horror film.
All right. Yeah, I want to check out the graphic novels as well, because apparently graphic novels is actually completely different.
Yeah, I've heard about them as well.
Actually, a completely different story. I really want to check out the graphic novels. I didn't even know there was any, to be honest.
Mm.
But I suppose most things are all based on books or comic books, at least for the most part, anyway.
Yeah.
And plus, when it comes to Japan, pretty much everything's either a book, light novel, or graphic novel, or manga. Or MMO RPG game. Oh, they're making a live-action Monster Hunter, a Japanese game originally, and they've massively changed it again, so it's going to be another American piece of shit. I've never heard of it myself.
Have you been playing any games?
I haven't played it.
You been playing any games recently, John? Or
No, not really. I really need to play a little bit more of Spider-Man. Really, I've not played much of it, to be honest. I keep meaning to go on it and at least have a good hour on it. But you know what? It's actually, I wouldn't say it's really difficult, but it's actually quite hard. I thought it might be quite simple, but to get used to the whole swinging through the streets and everything, it's got to be quite a precise movement. And you got to, if you don't do it properly, you'll literally just keep falling all the time. You don't die, but you'll keep falling. And it's also you've got to use little jets of things to get you through trees and things like that to keep yourself elevated. And it's actually quite involved, really. And then the combat system, yeah, it's quite a lot like the Arkham games, Batman Arkham games, but it's actually quite difficult because the enemies literally try to outnumber you really, really hard, and you've got to try and keep your distance from them by throwing stuff at them, like drains and maybe doors of a car and things like that. You got to kind of use that to your defense, and then trying to defend yourself against guns and bullets and everything. It's really quite involved, really. More involved than I thought it would be. I thought it might be just a simple button smasher. But it isn't. There's a little bit of you got to put a bit of thought into the fights and everything, in order that you don't die. And I've died a couple of times, so I'm a shit Spider-Man very much. I've died about 6 times, a couple of times in the actual one of the missions. A couple of times in the missions, because it's just one of those things. It's it's not a difficult game, but it's quite an involved process, more involved than I thought it would be.
There's an expansion pack coming out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just been out. I think it comes out in sometime in November. I think.
Well, I'll be able to get the expansion pack because I don't have PSN network at the moment. I've had to cancel it because I'm out of work. Unless they bring out a physical disc for it, but no doubt it would just be a downloadable thing. And plus they'll charge more for it as well, being on PlayStation Store. It's quite disgusting, really. There was a game that I checked out and thought, I wonder how much this is. It was 60 quid. And it was only 45 quid in shops. 60 quid! And it was just because it was a downloadable straight from Sony's Play Store. 60 quid! Oh, you can fuck off.
I thought things were usually a few quid cheaper on the PlayStation Store than they are to buy the physical copy. But
there is some games that I have done. Yeah, I did purchase a game once. It literally cost me 5 quid, and it was actually a bit more in shops, but it cost me 5 quid to download it. And I've only downloaded a game once, and purchased and downloaded a game once. I can't remember what it was now, but yeah. The reason why I've done it since is because it really ate up a lot of my bloody internet data to do it. Because it was physically downloading the game, and obviously it was using the internet to do it as well. And it took probably about 6 hours for it to finish. So it used quite a lot of my internet data. And since then, I've tried not to do it so much. I mean, I can't help it when I turn it on. It does automatically update. I just got to leave it to update. But updates don't take long at all. Usually, the system updates take about. Well, the system updates take maximum of about maybe 10 minutes. depending on the size.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like buying a new game, it could take about 3 or 4 hours for it to install updates plus the game as well. And it's using the internet all the time as well. So that's why I'm not playing many games now, because it uses too much bloody internet usage, and for some reason it just literally just saps me internet usage. Even though I've got quite a lot, we've got like over 100 gig, but we used to have quite a bit more, a higher one. We used to have a higher gigabyte usage, but my dad went down because I found a package that was about out of the same, a bit cheaper or something. Oh no, because we went to fiber optic broadband. Yeah, because we switched to fiber optic broadband, they said that was probably near to what we was already paying for what we had before, without having to go pay more for fiber optics. So we ended up having to kind of come down a little bit in gigabyte. But yeah, I've got to be careful now, really, because literally, there's like my dad and me. My dad watches some stuff sometimes now and again on Netflix. Now I'm always either on Netflix or Amazon Prime watching stuff. So I've got to kind of keep my eye on the gigabyte usage. And video games don't help because they're so big. I mean, to be honest, I don't think I'm going to buy Red Dead Redemption 2 because 100 gig will take probably about pretty much nearly a better part of a full day to install, probably even more.
Yeah.
And plus, there's 2 discs.
On fiber optic, it'd probably take roughly 6 hours, give or take an hour.
Yeah, well, it's too long. It just literally eats. It just eats away at my broadband.
6-7 hours isn't that long when you consider that if you did it on the previous pre-fiber optic, you probably would have taken a week or even longer.
Maybe they might do some more deals in the future where maybe they might do a deal where a higher bundle probably is made cheaper or something, or maybe go for that in the future. I don't know, but in the meantime, I've got to really watch it because before we switched from normal broadband to fiber optic, we had a much bigger gigabyte usage, and I barely touched it. I barely touched it really. We used to have loads of left over. Even when it came to games as well. So like playing games and that, I never had any issues because I could install, I could update. I'd never have any issues because it barely touched it. But since we've had to come down, it's only like 100 or something gig, 120 or 150 gig or something like that. I think we're on at the moment. You can notice it more because it's much more of a lesser number. I think before we was like 300 and something gig. So we've had to come down a good 150 gig or so. Maybe shy of 200 gig on what we're on at the moment. And you can definitely notice it a lot more on the new gigabyte usage than we did before.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, that's life, I suppose.
Yeah, I know. It's just money grabbing, isn't it? I mean, I'm not often going to buy any new releases for games when they come out anymore because they're just too expensive, and it's almost a rip-off prices. Because like what, $49.99 to $59.99 for a game? It's just.
Games will get more expensive. It costs more to make them now. There's more people involved than ever. Games will get more expensive. I do agree sometimes. I think they're overpriced depending on what they are. There has been some games in the past that have been released like in the last 2 years, which there was anybody heard of a game called No Man's Sky?
Yeah.
No Man's Sky
Yes.
Yeah, it caused utter outrage because when it got released and it was full price, I think it was something like 40 quid. It was technically an unfinished. It wasn't complete. And people said that the game developers had ripped everybody off and that they should have released it as an early access game for like maybe 15 quid. And it's literally only in the last couple of months it's actually been officially finished. Even so, when they released it as a quote complete full game, it wasn't, and it caused utter outrage.
Yeah, there's one with that happened with one of the Assassin's Creed games as well, Assassin's Creed Unity. I think, yeah, because that was one of the first Xbox One games I got. I got Black Flag for PS4, and then I've got Unity. I've got the Thingy trilogy, the three, and then I've got. I haven't got the newest Assassin's Creed. I haven't played it for a while.
You know, one thing I'm still waiting on, and I'm going to clue when this was announced months ago. The director's cut for it.
Yeah.
Because there hasn't really been anything.
And what have you been playing on in your time, Sam? What games have you been on lately?
I've been playing a lot of No Man's Sky. Sorry. I've been playing a lot of Space Engineers, and I've also been playing Skyrim.
Yeah.
Don't like Skyrim. That's a game that got people like, oh, it's the best game ever. It's open world. You can do this, do that. I'm just like, I bought it. And I'm like, I've been playing this for 2 hours, and all I've done is just ride a horse. It's so fucking boring. Because literally, you've got to go really far. You can't do anything until you find a fucking horse. I finally found a farm with a horse and a steed. And then I die because the freaking farmer's killed me. I'm like, this is freaking crap. Mainly because I can't play the damn thing. Plus, I'm not a fan of that type of game anyway. I've never have been. Give me an arcade. Give me a first-person shooter. Give me something where I can literally run in and kill people. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I mean, like Red Dead Redemption, I don't really think I should bother with that, really. I mean, I can't at the moment anyway, but it's just a big open world Western. I don't know, really. I bet it's expensive as well. I mean, how much are they charging for Red Dead Redemption 2? Because of it being 100 gig and plus the amount of bloody hours that they put into the damn thing. I bet they put that as at least 55, 60 quid.
Yeah, I'm not paying that much for it. There's a few Switch releases coming out before Christmas that I really want. There's the Let's Go Pikachu, and then there's the Smash Bros.
Yeah, I'd
really
like
want those.
Yeah, I'd like a Nintendo Switch. That's an option I'm considering for my birthday / Christmas, like a joint thing for both Christmas and my birthday, but not sure whether it'll happen or not yet, or whether I just maybe put some money together and maybe see about one after Christmas, January sales or something. But and I want to get Smash Bros. And I also want to get the Zelda game as well. They're the only two games at the moment.
What, Breath of the Wild?
Yeah. I haven't played that yet. It's been out for ages. I really want to play it. I've never played a Zelda game in years. I really want to play that game because it's so cool. Really is a nice game. And then I also want to play the Mario Odyssey game as well.
Oh, that's really good. That is brilliant.
But we'll see. I mean, I've seen a bundle with the Mario Smash Bros game included, I think I've got that as an idea, or just a console on its own, and I might see myself maybe pick up a game separately. I don't know, or just kind of have the console, and then over time, just when I can afford to, just pick up a game now and again. I don't know, whatever's cheapest really, or whatever's available. But I would like a Switch because it's a really cool concept. Is that like you can have it plugged either downstairs or upstairs wherever you play games, and then literally say if somebody says, "Oh, I want to watch something," okay, just take out the cradle, carry on playing, and the TV is there for somebody else to watch. It's quite a clever concept, really.
Yeah, exactly.
And plus, you can take it away with you. I've noticed a lot of people. I've noticed a few people on the train when me and my dad have gone out. They've had one with them. And obviously, apparently you can take them on planes as well because they don't. Well, they have got Wi-Fi. They do have like a Wi-Fi signal, but they are safe to use on any public transportation, which is good. I don't think you'll probably find somebody and say, "Oh, excuse me, would you like to duel me with a game?" Like they did in the adverts. Like people on a plane and they're freaking playing Switch on a game. Like, yeah, that doesn't really work. For the most part, you got to be in your seats for the most part of the flight until they tell you can start moving about. And plus, it depends how long the flight is as well.
I can't find anything. The director's cut was confirmed, but it's been a year since it was confirmed, and there's still nothing.
Well, I bought it in the end because literally I waited ages for this what you said about and said it was supposed to be releasing some point this year, and I thought, well, okay, I'll wait on buying it, and I bought it for £7 on Blu-ray from HMV. It was released to £7. I thought, okay, sod it. I don't know when this special edition's coming out. I thought it's £7, £7 or £8 or something like that. I thought I'm buying it. I absolutely love that film. I'm gonna have to watch it again for Halloween, probably because obviously there's only like 2 more days to go. I'm gonna have to find some more horror films to watch. In the meantime, I watched Texas Chainsaw, the original one.
A friend of mine loves to watch that Disney film, that old Hocus Pocus. That's his favourite Halloween film.
I like Hocus Pocus. I've got it somewhere. I'm gonna have to drag it out. I really want to check that out again. That was when Sarah Jessica Parker was actually hot. After that film went downhill with Sex and the City and everything, she got really ugly later on. Now, that sounds horrible to say. You don't judge people on how they look, but in Sarah Jessica Parker in Hocus Pocus, she was hot. She was really quite an attractive character, an attractive actress back when she was younger. But when she got a bit older, she started to obviously she had a bit of bit of surgery done to her and everything, and she just made herself look like a bit of a mess. Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, if I can't get a Nintendo Switch, I might see about one of those. If it's too expensive, I might maybe see about one of those retro. One of them Super Nintendo things because they're only about £50 or £80.
Yeah, they've released a classic PS1. I really don't think I'm actually going to get one straight away. But
well, they've actually, I don't know if you noticed, Lawrence, actually I'll find it for you, that you can read it. They've actually released the actual list of games that's going to be on it finally. Let me find it for you. I think Metal Gear Solid's supposed to be on it. It's pretty cool. PS1 Classic Mini. Right, okay. I've got the full spec here, guys. Just give me a moment. Alright, actually I'll send it so you can all check it out. Hopefully you'll see it in your screen. now. Hopefully, it should be up there now for you. You got Battle Arena, Machine Dead, Cool Destruction Derby, Final Fantasy VII, Grand Theft Auto, Metal Gear Solid. You got Oddworld. Oh, I love Oddworld. You got Rayman as well. Resident Evil Director's Cut. Revelations Persona. Tekken 3 is my favourite PS1 game ever. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six.
Yeah.
Twisted Metal is awesome. And Wild Arms. So there's actually some pretty decent games on there, actually. The only thing is, it's a bit stupid. It's only 20. There's only 20 games on it, and how much are you going to be paying for it?
About 90 quid.
It's not really worth 90 quid, really. But, I mean, it's worth it for Metal Gear and Oddworld and Rayman. I love those games. Final Fantasy VII and Grand Theft Auto.
Oh yeah, Final Fantasy VII.
Well, I love Tekken 3. Tekken 3 is the first. Tekken 3 is the first game I played in the Tekken franchise. Actually, I believe my cousin Leah, she had it. She had a PS1. No, she had a PS2 because they released Tekken 3 on PS1 and PS2 later. I think it's PS. I don't know, but I remember playing it. I remember constantly playing it whenever I went round when I was younger. I used to love it. Absolutely love Tekken 3.
I'm just happy it's got Final Fantasy VII on it.
Are you going to get one then, Sam?
Oh yeah, I'm going to get one. 100%. Just Final Fantasy VII.
So you did like the original. So you did like the original.
Bloody hell! Yeah, I mean, I was my mate Bobby. He had a PlayStation original, and back in the day, me and him were playing Final Fantasy VII. We were playing Metal Gear Solid. I mean, a lot of the earlier stuff, you know, it's the proper Japanese games, and they're just brilliant. Most of the games listed on there are on PC anyway. They were actually PC games that were emulated over to console.
Yeah, I love Oddworld and I love Rayman. They're good platformers. I mean, I might consider, but I've got 2 PS1s and I've no idea if they're in working order or not. So I might not really bother because I've got PS1s that hopefully should be in working order, and if they are, I could simply just buy the games really cheaply off eBay, just play them properly, you know. But I'll see. I mean, like I say, at the moment, I can't afford anything. I mean, 90 quid, 80 and 90 quid isn't too bad, but a lot of people say just get one of those Pi things, Raspberry Pi, whatever they call them.
Yeah, Raspberry Pis.
But the thing is, I don't understand coding. I don't understand how you do them. Somebody tried to explain it to me and said they were going to like send me information, but I never got the information. I'm actually considering getting one of those Raspberry Pi things in the future because they're not expensive, and plus they allow you to put emulators on and everything, and you can put as many games as you want on and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, a few people say you best get in one of those Raspberry Pi things because they're actually better than these minis that are coming out. Mr. Driller, I never heard of that one before. But Grand Theft Auto, God, I used to play Grand Theft Auto, the original Grand Theft Auto. I used to love that.
I think they don't have like Gran Turismo on it. I heard that Gran Turismo and that were going to be on it, but it doesn't seem to be here.
It's not on there, no. Oh, you got Ridge Racer Type 4 as well. Ridge Racer's a great game.
Mr. Driller. Oh, Rayman. They got the original Rayman. I did have that. That was good.
And Twisted Metal. That's a good game.
Was Twisted Metal the one where you were like in a tank and blowing things up or something?
No, that's Metal Slug. That's Metal Slug or something like that. No, they've also got Resident Evil as well, Director's Cut. I don't know. I might see about one. When does it release? Do you know?
I don't know if they're out yet or
They're not out yet. Oh, wait a minute. Apparently, there's a Japanese version of the PlayStation Classic that has different games on it. Right, that one I just read out, that's what's going to be everywhere else, North America. The North American one includes those games I just said, but there's a Japanese one that's going to have Ark the Lad 1 and 2, Armored Core, Devil Dice, Gradius Gaiden, Metal Gear, Persona, Resident Evil, Ridge Racer Type 4, Saga Frontier, Tekken 3. So it's going to have slightly different games on the Japanese version. But
yeah,
only have a slight. Still 20, but it's going to cost $100. It's going to cost £89 in the UK, so 90 quid in the UK, but it's going to cost $100. €100, then 9,980 yen in Japan, which is roughly about £100. $100, sorry, and then I don't know. That's actually I don't know. I might see about one because I've never played Final Fantasy VII. I've not played any of the Final Fantasy games before. But I have played Metal Gear Solid.
You've never played a Final Fantasy game?
Nope.
Oh, that's shocking, mate. I thought you'd have played one or two.
Sam's been ducking in and out again, hasn't he?
Oh, where's Sam?
No, I'm here. Yeah. I lost the connection for a second there.
No, I've never played a Final Fantasy game. I've been wanting to, but I've never played one. I just never got Final Fantasy when I was younger. Plus, to be honest,
are you going to get the Dragon trilogy?
Dragon trilogy.
Your Spyro, the Dragon, the other big games like Crash.
I don't know. So I said I never played any of the Spyro stuff either. I mean, there is some games that I've never really played because, like I said, I never really. Even when I was a kid, I was into anime, but I never really played many Japanese games except for like Tekken and Metal Gear Solid. They're the only kind of Japanese. Oh, Pokemon as well. They're the only Japanese-based games I kind of remember playing. But when I was a kid, I never really played anything like the RPGs or the MMO things, whatever you want to call them. I have played them since, a few of them, but I was more into arcade games and racing games and stuff like that when I was a kid. I used to like Gran Turismo. They were good games.
Yeah, I did as well. Trying to think. I had Gran Turismo 1 and 2 for PS1. GT4, GT3, GT Concept, GT4 for PS2, and then I had GT5 and GT6 for PS3. I haven't got this newer one for PS4, but I like to play Forza on the Xbox more now. So.
When's it coming out? That's what I was going to look at, wasn't it? December 3rd this year.
What's that?
December 3rd this year is when it's going to be coming out.
Well, what's going to be coming out?
The classic PlayStation with 20 games on it.
Yeah. I probably won't get one straight away.
Well, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I might see how things pan out. I mean, like I say, I'm looking at ideas for my birthday, and I might maybe see about maybe one of that. I don't know. See how things go. I might because to be honest, is it up for pre? Oh no, it is. Yeah, it's up for pre-order. I noticed it earlier. It's up for pre-order on Amazon. I noticed I was looking on Amazon, and it is actually up for pre-order.
Okay, I think I'm probably going to turn in soon and try and get a decent night's sleep because I've got a job centre appointment tomorrow in the late morning.
Okay. Yeah, that's no problem.
What about you guys?
Yeah, we can call it a day.
What are you doing tomorrow?
Me? Oh, nothing really. Just well, I've got a dentist appointment in the afternoon, and that's about it at the moment. Yeah, it's up for pre-order now. 90 quid. It's up for pre-order now.
Yeah. Well, the SNES and the NESs were cheaper than that, and even the Sega Mega Drive Classic's cheaper than that. You can as well as having 80 games on it, you can put your cartridges in those as well. I know they're classic games and all, but that's a bit sort of.
There's a little bit more than the others, definitely. I mean, the
I know that there are.
The Super, well, right, the classic mini system, which is the first one, that's only 50 quid. And then the the SNES is 70 quid currently.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Yeah, you know that they are doing. I think I don't know if it's mainly to rival the PlayStation, but Nintendo are, well, whoever's doing them is doing the classic Nintendo 64.
No, I heard.
Have you bought many new games this year, Sam? Or
not really. I think I've only really. I think in this year I've only bought 4.
you still play Star Wars Battlefront? Or
Oh yeah, I still play that, man. Still play. I had a game last night. Still play it. Good game. Good game all round.
Yeah.
I just added those two to my wish list just as alternative ideas. Well, anyway, see what happens. I mean, yeah. But anyway, so if you want to call it a night, guys, we will do that. And like I say, we're just past.
All right. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, we can probably, I'm free again, sort of Wednesday night if you want to go on or whatnot.
Yeah.
We can
all right then. All right. Well, thanks all for watching. Thanks to John and Sam for letting me join. It's been great to talk to you guys. All right. So, all right. See you soon.
All right. Take care, bud. See you all.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for putting up with us. Sorry for breaking YouTube, but all good. Right. Night all. Bye.
Night, guys. Thanks for watching.